What comes to mind when you think of the Electoral College? For me, when I was growing up, I thought it had something to do with school. Graduate high school, go to college. Thought the Electoral College was kids in college voting for the president, but it is in fact not that. The Electoral College is made up of 538 individuals. These individuals are determined by the number of people in Congress, so the House of Representatives and the Senate, and then 3 representatives from Washington, D.C. So after the general election, after the popular vote is taken, the Electoral College meets, and these people cast their votes based on how their respective states voted. So this brings up the question, what's the point of the Electoral College? Why do we use it? A popular vote would be much easier to understand, to read, much more simpler. But I've got 3 reasons why we use the Electoral College. First one is to involve the entire country, to give minorities a voice, and to ensure that the election is legitimate. So the Electoral College involves the entire country because, as I said, a candidate needs 270 Electoral College votes. So you're going to need votes from small states and big states alike. You need a good mix because you cannot win the election solely on big states like Texas and California and New York that have more Electoral College votes than these smaller states like Vermont and New Hampshire and Montana. So you're going to need to campaign and win both big states and small states. Whereas if they used a popular vote, then candidates would just go to large states like California and New York with large amounts of people, and there would be no point in visiting campaigning states like Alaska and Hawaii and Nebraska and these smaller states that have very different opinions and views than these big states like California and New York do. So my second point is to give minorities a voice and make sure they have a say in government. The U.S. Census in 2020 showed that 75.5% of the nation is white. So if we went solely off a popular vote, a candidate would only need to win over half of the white population in the United States, and they would win the election. There would be no point in campaigning or trying to hear the needs and voices of African Americans, Hispanics, Asian Americans, these smaller groups that still matter and have different views than the white population. Cato.org says most of the minorities find themselves in larger cities of bigger states, making support of these communities have bigger appeal. So with the Electoral College, you're going to want to win these bigger states. You can't win solely off the bigger states, but winning a large state like California with 50-some Electoral College votes really helps you get to that 270 Electoral College vote threshold that you need to win. So with these minorities in these larger cities and larger states, you're going to want to campaign those communities and get those votes, because if you win that city, then you win that state, and then you get that many more Electoral College votes. So then my third and final point is to ensure the legitimacy of the election. So with the Electoral College, it increases the victory margin drastically. Heritage.org stated that out of the past 29 elections, 17 had been decided by 200 or more Electoral College votes. So this is much easier to declare a winner than by using the popular vote. Whereas the popular vote could come down to a few 100,000, maybe even a few thousand votes different, which is much harder to count and ensure that those votes are right and ensure that you're electing a correct president that actually won. Especially if we use the popular vote with a number of candidates between Republican and Democrat and Independent and write-ins, a president could have an outrageously small number of votes and still win the election. A president could have, say, 35% of the population's votes and still win the president. So 35% is not a very good representation of the entire nation. So this would cause the population to question his authority. Like, why did he win? He doesn't deserve it when he didn't even win the support of half the nation. So, in conclusion, the Electoral College, without the Electoral College, elections would be unfair and would not be the best representation of our nation's wants and needs and desires as a whole.